Hiya guys, welcome back to Wentworth Life, the YouTube channel that talks everything Wentworth. If you're new to the channel, then hit that subscribe button right now for all future updates. And as usual, if you stick around until the end of this video, I will be responding to some of your comments from a previous video. Okay, so Wentworth Season 8, Episode 8, titled Goldfish Part 2. Right, so things started to really boil over this week with the women led by Lou Kelly, and things almost got really out of hand. We had everything this week. We had emotion, we had some really dark scenes, we had a mini riot, we almost had a murder, and almost a suicide. And of course we had the beginning of a new storyline that's hitting the season next week in the name of Sheila. Even though Sheila didn't arrive in this episode, she's arriving next week, the storyline was already starting to be sewn together. A brilliant week this week. So, where shall I start? Okay, well, this week I'm going to start off with a few of the smaller things that happened, which will then lead me on to the bigger moments of the episode. So let's quickly just get started with Boomer. So last week, Boomer started having conversations with a guy called Gavin while in the call centre on the phone. So she saved his number and she's been ringing him every day. So this week she rings him up and they have a little bit of a giggle on the phone together, but then Gavin tells Boomer that all he wants in a woman is honesty, because apparently he's been hurt so many times over the years. Haven't we all? So Boomer takes this opportunity to tell Gavin that she isn't really a swimwear model, but she actually is in prison. And there was like a little bit of a pause and we all held our breath for a second, and then Gavin turns around and said it doesn't matter that she's in prison, which is nice. Gavin then goes on to say that he's always wanted a prison bitch pen pal, which made me giggle. However, it is worth mentioning that he does still think that Boomer has blonde hair and blue eyes, so even though Boomer wasn't honest, even though Boomer was being honest about the prison thing, she obviously doesn't have enough confidence in herself to tell him what she really looks like, which is really sad. So, but anyway, Boomer now has a new pen pal, but I've got a feeling that Gavin may want to come in and visit Boomer at some point, which may cause a little bit of difficulty. Unless, of course, she dyes her hair blonde and she does herself up, which would be quite cool to see. So let's wait and see what happens with these two. But I do hope that this storyline is going to end on a high, because Boomer, she deserves some good luck in her life, doesn't she? Okay, so we did actually get to see a little glimpse of Rita in this episode, which was awesome to see. I don't know what it is, but I absolutely love Rita. I think Rita is really going to be the one to save everyone in the end and finally become the top dog that she deserves to be. But the writers, they really are making us wait for this one, aren't they? But anyway, Ruby rings Rita. She rings Rita's mobile phone and they have a little chat, and I've got a feeling that Rita will be back next week properly. I have a feeling that she may get caught visiting her dad and brought back to Wentworth just in time for the season final. And you have to remember, guys, that Leah, who plays Rita, Leah Purcell, she wasn't fully available for filming during this season. She was filming in the United States at the same time, but the writers of Wentworth, they did manage to work around her schedule, so making sure that she did appear in a few episodes this season. So that explains why there's been a little bit of an absence of Rita. But next year she is back full time. So this makes me think that she will be caught in next week's episode and then back for the final episode, ready for next year. Let's just keep our fingers crossed on that one. So the next couple of scenes I'm going to talk about is Dr. Miller and Ferguson. So at the start of the episode, we can see Joan admiring Greg's goldfish. And we all know Ferguson has some weird fascination with the fish. And even though she claims to have lost her memory, the fascination still seems to be there. Anyway, Joan tells Greg that she doesn't want to continue with her meetings, but he does tell her that the meetings are compulsory. He then goes on to ask her, why don't you want to continue? And Ferguson turns around and says, Joan Ferguson is a monster, and why would she want to learn anything about her? So, is Joan double bluffing here? Is she just maybe getting bored of these meetings? What do you guys think? Dr. Miller then takes Joan to the creche. Yes, you heard me correctly, the creche, where all the staff's children are being kept while they are on shift, including baby Grace. And, I mean, Ferguson isn't in there with them playing blocks with them or anything, but she is on the other side of the glass watching in, and for me, this was just a little bit too close for comfort. Anyway, Dr. Miller is telling Joan that nobody is born evil. We were all babies once, and it's what happens to us in life that makes us the way they are, which I totally agree with him. But Joan then gets a glimpse of baby Grace, and it's almost as if she recognises her straight away. I mean, Joan even stops Dr. Miller from talking by asking him whose baby is that, while she points in a really, really creepy way. And now this might be triggering her memory, because one of the last things that she did, or tried to do, before she got knocked out and attacked, was to kidnap baby Grace. So this might just be why Grace catches Ferguson's eye, and it's jogging her memory a little bit. And but then Jake walks in, and he tells Dr. Miller to get Ferguson out, and he then has a go at Dr. Miller. And this is really funny. While Ferguson is sitting in Dr. Miller's office, she takes this opportunity to steal a fish from his fish tank, which is just hilarious. She ends up smuggling the fish in a cup back to a unit, and during this scene, Jake takes the opportunity to tell Ferguson to stay away from his baby. And Ferguson is like, what, that's your baby? In a really, really confused manner. But what really interested me in this scene is the way she looks at Jake when he's walking away. And she starts to close the door slowly. This is literally looking like the old, real Ferguson. And then later on, Ferguson comes into Ferguson's cell, and she also tells her if she goes anywhere near my baby, that she will fucking kill her. And once again, Ferguson's like, wait, what? That's your baby? And it's like, so all these little things that Jake and Vera are feeding her is literally going to start triggering things in her head. Remember when I said in my last video that it's all a bit of a jigsaw puzzle, and it just needs putting together, and it's slowly starting to happen now. It's definitely starting to happen. So this was a Anne Reynolds free episode, because Anne was beaten up quite badly by Judy Bryant last week, and Boomer and Ruby witnessed the whole thing. But because Ali seems to be not in a very good place right now, Boomer and Ruby, they decided not to tell Ali what happened. So as a result of this now, the whole prison is in total lockdown, total mayhem. And I've just got to ask a really quick question. During the first couple of scenes when they were all in lockdown and they were having little conversations in the unit, was it just me, guys, but was the volume a bit off? Because I could barely hear Ali, Ruby and Boomer and Judy talking in those first one or two scenes at the start of the episode. To me, it sounded like all the women that were going nuts in the other blocks, it's like that volume was turned all the way up, and the talking scenes were turned all the way down. Was it just me, or did I just see a rubbish copy or something? Let me know in the comments box below, because it really, really annoyed me. But anyway, where am I? So as a result of the lockdown, the women are now starting to turn on Ali. They're calling her a shit-top dog, and Ali can't get the guilty one to come forward because basically she doesn't know who did it. And Ali then goes to Mr. Jackson and tells him that it's inhumane to keep the women locked up. But Mr. Jackson and Vera, they're not happy, understandably. And they want to know who attacked Anne Reynolds, and they want Ali to find out who did it. So Ali basically tells him that she can't find out while they're all in lockdown. That's just ridiculous. And so he tells Ali that the women can be released, but only for work duties and for food. That's it. No phone calls, no visits, not even any bloody showers, which to me, guys, is absolutely gross and is slightly inhumane. I mean, I know they can have a little flannel sponge wash in their cells, but that's just not the same, is it? I would have thought that it would have been compulsory for them to have showers. But anyway, that's just me. So the women are not happy with Ali. Even though they have been released for work and food, they still ain't happy. So I think they want Ali to find out who bashed Jan Reynolds, but obviously she's getting nowhere, and it's making her look very, very weak as top dog. So later in the episode, Ruby tells Judy that this isn't fair on Ali, and they need to tell her what happened. So Judy agrees. But in a twist, Judy tells Ali that it was Lou Kelly. She tells Ali that she saw Lou leaving the kitchen after the bashing. So, what is Ali going to do now? Because realistically, the top dog isn't supposed to lag. But even Boomer says at one point in this episode that lagging is pretty serious. So in the dining room, Ali makes a speech telling all the women that the guilty party does need to own up for the sake of the women. Now, of course, Ali thinks it's Lou, but we know as the audience that it isn't Lou. So we know that Lou isn't going to come clean because it wasn't her. So what is Ali going to do now? Well, I'm just going to leave that there just for a moment and quickly move on to Lou and Reb. So, Reb gets some good news in this episode from Vera, and Vera tells him that he's been granted the operation that he's been wanting for so long. However, he does have to go and see Dr. Miller just to get the green light that he is mentally stable. But Reb obviously isn't thrilled about seeing him because, as we know, Reb was once sent to some weird therapy crazy place where he was subjected to some awful and unorthodox treatments before escaping with Lou Kelly. And we actually learn a little bit more about this when a news report pops up saying that there has been an arrest over the mysterious deaths of 9 people that happened back in 2018 at a place called the True Paths Retreat. Now this news startles Lou and Reb when they see the report, because obviously this is the place where they were both at and where they both met. And the place where they were basically trying to be brainwashed. So later on in the episode, Reb asks Lou who does she think has been arrested, and Lou calmly shrugs it off, saying she doesn't know, but it's best just to forget about it, and it's good that nobody has connected either of them to the place. So now we don't know the full extent to what happened at that place, but it definitely sounds awful. And it's something that is going to make Lou, if it's something that's going to make Lou Kelly nervous, then I think we are in for a shock next week when Sheila arrives. Mari also noticed the effects that it had on Reb and Lou, and later on, when Mari asks Reb about it, Reb tells her that some really, really bad things happened towards the end, and a lot of people died. But Reb and Lou were the only ones to walk away alive, which puts a little bit of a shocked look on Mari's face. So I am intrigued to find out what happened. I think there's definitely going to be a big twist in this storyline, and it wouldn't surprise me if Lou knows a lot more than what she's letting on just to protect Reb. Very interesting. Anyway, it's now time for Reb to go and see Dr. Miller, and while Dr. Miller is questioning Reb starts to get some awful flashbacks to when he was being abused by that doctor in that awful retreat, and Reb ends up running out, and it's really freaky as well, because when Reb is having these flashbacks, you got this guy that's like shoving stuff into Reb's face, and then you got like all these people behind that doctor guy, and it was like something out of a horror film, wasn't it? It was mad. So Reb has a bit of a freak out and she tries to run, but when Dr. Miller tries to stop him, Reb lashes out and hits Dr. Miller in the face. So Linda brings Reb back to the unit, and Lou tries to calm Reb down, and in this scene you can clearly see that all Lou wants to do in her whole life is to help Reb and to sort things and do anything that is possible so that Reb can get the operation. And when Lou tells Reb that she can fix this, Reb isn't so confident. So I think Lou takes that as a bit of a challenge, because later on then, when Lou is cleaning the corridors on cleaning duties, she spots Dr. Miller leaving his office. And she tries talking to him by telling him that Reb has been waiting for a long time for this operation and she doesn't want him standing in the way. And Dr. Miller tells Lou that it isn't his intention, but he does have to be satisfied that Reb is ready for this. And this really pisses Lou off, and Lou doesn't like being told no, does she? Really pisses her off. So Lou decides to teach Dr. Miller a lesson that he will never forget, or he may not even survive from. Lou tells Ferguson to go and get some of that rat poison from the kitchen, which Ferguson agrees to do, which I was a little bit shocked by. She didn't even ask what it was for, she just nodded. So Joan goes and gets the poison and takes it to Lou, and then Lou makes the deadly syringe pot thing with the poison and takes it back to Joan, telling Joan to put it in Dr. Miller's cup of tea. Now, Joan tells Lou that she can't, she's not that person anymore, but Lou don't care, and tells Ferguson that she will do it or she will throw it to the pack. Mari does try to jump in, and Mari tells Lou that you can't expect Kath, i.e. Joan, to do it, but Lou is taking no for an answer. So, what will Joan do? Well, this is going to bring us on to my favourite part of the episode, and it brings us on to a riot scene, which is just fantastic. We all love a good riot, and everyone's storylines that are happening in this episode, they all end up colliding at this particular point, which Wentworth always does brilliantly. So Lou has something planned in the laundry and in the corridors of the prison, far enough away from Dr. Miller's office just to give Joan enough chance to slip him some rat poison. So Lou gets some of the women on cleaning duty to start smashing up the corridor and the windows, and this is all carefully planned to take place at 11:30 AM sharp. So while all the women are in the corridor going nuts, Lou and her crew in the laundry, they throw the officer on duty into the laundry basket and take her swipe card and lock her in the office, that little office thing next to the laundry. Now, am I the only one who found this little moment hilarious? I mean, the way the officer's legs are just sticking up in the laundry basket while the women are trolleying her into the office is just comedy gold. I don't think it was supposed to be funny, but it just amused me. Anyway, Lou and the girls, they start smashing up the laundry, throwing everything off the shelves. The women turn the tables upside down. It's total mayhem. It's absolutely brilliant. Total mayhem. So the riot alarm sounds and all through the prison, and Vera runs to Will's office just to see what's happening, and she tells him that he's going to need to call in the riot squad. And when he refuses, she tells him, just remember what happened last time during the siege. So back in the laundry, Lou gives the swipe card to some of her evil girls that are in her crew to go wherever they like in the prison to cause some mess. And so they go off, and then Will gets Ali to his office, and she tells him that the women are just going mad because of lockdown. But he won't lift it until he gets the name of that person who attacked Anne Reynolds. Just at that moment, an officer radios through and tells them that the women have now breached the creche corridor. The creche corridor where all the babies are kept. So Vera makes a run for it to get there, because as we all know, baby Grace is in there. Now, this was a little bit of a creepy, scary scene. The women are outside the creche and they're looking through the window in a very creepy way. One of them even says she just wants to eat them. Now, I don't know if some of these girls, they're off their face on of acid, LSD, and I think some of them are probably baby killers, and oh god, just even by thinking about. But Linda Miles arrives on the scene with her baton, but she does have a little bit of a meltdown because the prisoners start coming towards her, and then all of a sudden she's having flashbacks of the siege when Officer Brody was aiming the gun at her head, and she literally ends up crumbling into the floor. And just as the prisoners are about to grab Miss Miles smiles. Vera arrives on the scene and she just turns full on ninja, which was just amazing. She grabs Linda's baton and smashes the prisoners to the floor. Go on, Vera, it was bloody brilliant. I think we were all relieved when this happened, and then Jake and a few of the other officers arrive on the scene to take control of things, and Vera goes, she looks through the glass to make sure that baby Grace is okay. I absolutely bloody loved seeing Vera go all ninja on us. That is definitely the mother instinct in her, protecting her little one. You should never piss off a mother. So Vera rages through to Will and tells him to call in the riot police before things get even further out of hand. And just as Will is about to do it, Ali then blurts out to him that the person who attacked Anne Reynolds is Lou Kelly. So Ali has now crossed that line, and when the women find out that the top dog has lagged, she's in for some serious shit, guys. But I will talk a little bit more about that in just a moment. We'll come back to that. So Will tells the women to stop rioting and that the lockdown is over, and the women go back to their cells. But if we just wait a moment, Ferguson, has she poisoned Dr. Miller or not? Well, when the riot alarm calms down, Dr. Miller goes to find an officer to take Joan back to her cell. And Joan pulls out the poison, but we don't actually see what she's done with it. Has she poured it into his cup of tea or not? But when she leaves his office, he then takes a sip of his tea. And later on, when Vera goes to see Dr. Miller, it looks like that he's just sleeping in his chair. But we are left wondering, oh my god, is he dead? Has he been poisoned? But when Vera touches his shoulder, he wakes up. So Dr. Miller is okay. Ferguson didn't poison him, so what the hell has she done with that poison? Oh, well, we'll talk about that one in a moment as well. But we finally had someone who gave a shit about Linda in this episode. So after the riot ends, Vera finds Linda still in a heap on the floor. So Vera asks Dr. Miller to take a look at her. And it's about bloody time, isn't it, guys? We're only 8 episodes in. So I'm hoping that we do get to see a session between Linda and Dr. Miller next week, so Linda can finally open up and finally get some help. It's about time. So back to Ali. So Ali has lagged and Ferguson hasn't poisoned Dr. Miller. So what next? Well, like I said, I'll start with Ali. So during a head count, Ali and the girls, they see Lou Kelly getting dragged away by the officers. And Lou is protesting her innocence, and we see Boomer, Judy, Ruby, they're all looking a little bit worried because they know it wasn't her, and of course Ali's looking a bit worried because the only reason why Lou is being dragged away is because she lagged. Now, there was a very creepy moment with this scene, and I know it's been noticed by a lot of you guys. There is a scene where Ali is looking right at the camera, and just as the camera is slowly changing to the next scene, it looks like the telephone line is around Ali's neck, indicating Ali is hanging. Now, could this be a little foreshadowing of Ali's demise after her lagging on Lou? Now, this had me thinking about the original Prisoner Cell Block H episodes, because in Prisoner, the original Lou Kelly, she ended up hanging another inmate for being a lagger. So this has me a little bit worried that maybe the writers of Wentworth are planning on a similar scene happening soon. I mean, do you guys think that Lou is going to end up hanging Ali as punishment for lagging? I mean, I definitely think Lou Kelly is on the boil now. Dr. Miller didn't even do anything wrong, and Lou wanted him dead. So I think we are headed for a very big, deadly showdown by the end of this season. You mark my words. And I have a feeling this is definitely the beginning of the end of Ali's final chapter. I mean, so much has been done with Ali's character that I feel there is nothing left for her now. I do feel another big death is on the way. I mean, there was a really nice scene with Ruby, because Ruby comes into Ali's cell, and Ruby's like, "Oh, you're a good top dog, Ali." But Ali disagrees because of the way Lou Kelly was able to control the women to riot, and I don't think Ali feels like she has that same sort of power, which I don't think she has, guys. I don't think she has. And Ruby then asks Ali what would have B done, which was really nice. We got another B mention. And Ali tells Ruby that Bee lagged once, and she did it to protect her. And it was also the last thing she'd ever did as top dog. So all this is definitely a massive foreshadowing for a big end to Ali's character. And as much as I do like Ali, I don't dislike her. I do like her. I do feel it's time for her to go. Which is strange because I've never felt that way about any other character who got killed off. I never felt that way with Bee or when Kaz got killed off. I always thought that the characters had more to offer. But I think it is time to say goodbye to Ali. What do you guys think? It will be a very sad moment if it does happen, but I think it's time now, definitely. Anyway, we haven't finished yet. We still have Ferguson and that rat poison. So, Ferguson still has it in her pocket. She didn't use it on Dr. Miller, and instead, she's about to drink it herself. But she's stopped by Mari. Mari is yet again saving everyone this season. But no, it was actually a really nice scene, especially when Mari said to Ferguson, it's not about who you were, it's about who you are now. Which did bring a little tear to my eye, I'm not going to lie. And Mari takes the poison away from Joan, but instead of flushing it down the toilet, Mari has kept it in her pocket. Now, I did say in last week's video that I have felt for a little while that Mari is up to something. I am convinced that she will try and escape the prison once again, but I think she is biding her time and she wants to do it safely. She doesn't want another siege. But what the hell is she going to do with that poison? Towards the end of the episode, Reb comes into Mari's cell with his mattress and he asks Mari if he can bunk in with her tonight because Lou's been sent down the slot and he doesn't want to be on his own. And Mari's like, yes, of course you can. And again, there was another nice little moment here because while Reb is sleeping on his mattress on the floor next to Mari, he raises his arm and holds Mari's hand. Now, I don't know why, but I found this moment really cute. I think Reb and Mari have a special mother-son bond going on. I mean, Reb had a really shit mother and Mari lost her son, and I think the two of them have just got this special little closeness going on behind Lou's back, but I think it's really, really nice. But once again, I'm still a little bit worried. I don't know if Mari is going to use Reb in some sort of way, because just before the episode finishes, Mari asks Reb, how did all those people die in the retreat mass suicide? And Reb tells Mari they all died from poison. And Mari then has a little smirk on her face as she puts that rat poison under her pillow. So what the hell is Mari up to now? She definitely has a plan that's been up her sleeve all along, and we are about to find out what that plan is. I'm so excited, guys. Also, in this episode, there was a very creepy, scary little girl that kept appearing to Joan. The first sighting happened in Joan's cell at night. This little girl was just standing there in the corner of her cell with water dripping from her. And then later on in the episode, Joan sees the little girl again for a second time in the kitchen and in the equipment room with bloody footprints. And then the final time we get to see this little girl is back in Joan's cell with blood on her hands. Now, I literally have no idea what this is all about. It's definitely something from Joan's past. I've heard a few theories that maybe it's a child that Ferguson had when she was really young herself, and the child got taken away from her. And I've also heard that maybe the little girl is Ferguson herself when she was little, and maybe she killed her dad when her dad was abusing her as a little girl. But these are just theories at this stage. I'm not sure what's going to come to light in these final 2 episodes, but I'm sure we're going to learn a lot more about this next week and in the final. So, another fantastic episode this week from our favourite TV show. I think my favourite moment was definitely the riot scenes and Vera going full ninja on us. I'm so excited to see what the writers have planned for us now for these final 2 episodes. None of us know what's going to happen, and I always get really excited for this. I mean, last year we knew that there was going to be a siege in the last 2 episodes, but this year we haven't got a clue what's going to happen. It's going to be brilliant, especially with Sheila arriving. But let me know in the comments box below, what was your favourite moment from this week's episode? And let me know your theories on who this creepy little girl is. I will be really interested to hear. So on the subject of comments, it's now time for some comment replies. So we have Shirley Radat. I haven't seen episode 8 yet, but in seeing previews from episode 9, I think this is what's going to bring back Joan's memories. I see her doing a quick spin after a confrontation with someone, reminding me of what she did after Ali tried to kick her ass after Bee's death. The freak will be back soon, lol. Oh my god, Shirley, I never thought of that. So yeah, maybe she's going to get attacked and it's going to bring back memories to that original fight scene back in season 5, which was absolutely epic. But yes, I agree. I think she's going to get her memory back next week, just in time for the final. So yes, it's definitely going to happen. So yes, thank you, Shirley. And we have XenaFan234. Looks like Miss Miles may have reached her PTSD breaking point. Yes, she certainly has, Xena. And it makes me mad that it's taken 8 episodes for somebody to notice. But at least she's going to get some help now. Thank you for your comment. And we have Nick Ashby. I think Reb's life is in danger. I have a feeling Sheila is going to kill Reb, sending Lou into a frenzy. Wow, Nick. I think if anybody kills Reb, Jesus Christ, I dread to think what Lou will do. It doesn't even bear thinking about, but would be interesting if something like this happens during the last season next year, but we'll see what happens. Thank you for your comment, Nick. Krista Forelli. Favourite scene was Ali versus Joan. It was so intense, and that scream. Yes, Krista. That scene in the shower block was fantastic, and it works so well because both actresses are amazing. So thank you for your comment. Wit Top Dog, what's up? Beg your pardon, it's not Top Dog. My eyes are going funny. Wit Dog, what's up? I thought this was the last season. Did I make that up? I stayed away for weeks and now here I am on review 4. It's hard to wait till it's on Netflix. Haha, great video as always. Much love, Wentworth lovers. Well, Wit Dog, this isn't the final season. The final season is next year. So after this year, we still have one more to go. So I hope that brightens up your day and thank you for your comment. And thank you all for your amazing comments. Keep them coming. Maybe they will appear in my next video. And yeah, so keep them coming, guys. I love all your theories, I love all your questions, and I love trying to answer as many as I can in these videos. So if you've made it this far into the video, then thank you all for sticking around. Thank you all for watching and helping to grow this channel. I will be back very soon with some new videos, so make sure you've hit that subscribe button. And I shall see you all next time.